Hello and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're making Philly Cheesesteak Sloppy Joes. So this is a new take on a sloppy joe, but the Philly cheesesteak part of it makes it so good. And if you like a Philly cheesesteak to begin with, you're probably going to like this. We're going to start with a pound of ground beef in a large skillet, and we're going to go ahead and brown it and chop it up into as small a pieces as possible. So as you're heating up, keep going ahead and stirring it and mixing it up and browning. The whole goal here is to brown all the ground beef and get the majority of the pink out of it. We don't want it undercooked. We want to go ahead and make this at least well cooked through. So give it a few minutes and turn it over, and eventually you're going to end up looking a lot like what I have here. Now, once it's cooked completely, you're going to want to remove the beef from the pan, but leave the oil in, because we're going to use this to cook the next ingredients. So go ahead and spoon it out into a bowl on the side and just let it sit there until we bring it back in later to mix back into this. Now, once you've gotten it all out completely, then we're going to add at least a tablespoon or so of butter in here, and we're going to melt this down. I think with mine I added maybe a tablespoon and a half, but a tablespoon will do. And you're going to let this melt into the oil or grease, whatever that is left over from your ground beef. And then to that, you are going to add a cup of pepper onion blend, which has red pepper, green pepper, and onions. If you don't have the blend, then you can actually use red pepper, green peppers, and onions and just use about a third of a cup of each. Get them in there, let them heat up. And to this, we are adding in 8 ounces of cut up mushrooms, which I got a package that were whole ones. I cut them up and now they are in the mix. And we're going to stir this up because you want the butter and the oil that was already in the pan to coat them. And you're going to let them simmer like this for at least, I don't know, 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So like as the mushrooms are laying there, let them sit for a minute. Let them cook, then flip them over, because you want to try to cook them through a bit. And you'll notice as they're cooking through, they'll start to change color a little bit, and that's what you're going for. You are at least on medium to high heat while you're doing this, and make sure that you give them time to cook through, because this is probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 5 minutes to get them cooked through. Now, as I said before, after they set for a couple minutes, you want to go back in and stir them through so that way they'll cook again on the other side. Do your best to actually make sure you're flipping them over evenly. I use a spatula so that way I can get underneath and just flip them when I need to. So as you can see underneath my vegetables, the moisture is simmering underneath of it, which is actually cooking. If you used a frozen pepper or whatever in this, you're going to get a little water moisture from that, and that is totally okay because that's going to cook into what you're making. So as I said, continue to stir them until you think they are cooked through. And these are starting to look really good. It's just one of those things where you have to eyeball it, watch it, and like get them cooked. And if you have very large cut of mushroom, make sure that you flip them around and get them on both sides to make sure they're cooked. And because if you actually do it the right way, it was flipping them back and forth, you can tell when the mushroom is cooking. It's just going to get this odd look to it where it starts to change from really bright white to a different color that it's cooking. And as you can see, mine is just simmering away. So I am pretty much to the point where mine is cooked through at this point. So at this point, I'm giving mine one really good stir before I get ready for other ingredients to be added. Now we're going to put the ground beef back into the mix again. So go ahead and get your bowl and pull it all out. Don't leave any in the bowl. We've cooked this up. We want to use it all. So get every bit of it into your mix. And at that point, you can stir it up and bring the vegetables into the ground beef so that way everything is mixed thoroughly. So at this point, we're going to take about a cup of beef broth and we are going to add some cornstarch to it, which when you're adding in your cornstarch, you can use about a tablespoon and mix it in until your beef broth turns a different color, which is going to go kind of creamy looking. Make sure this is stirred up completely and then pour it into the pan. And that's going to go in with the rest of your ingredients. Then to this, we are going to add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add some ketchup, which basically this is going to give it a little bit of flavor. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Then you're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt and then a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to mix this all together. Now what you're going to want to do at this point is continue to mix this. You're going to have this on high and we're going to cook it until everything in the skillet starts to cook down, which means we're going to reduce the moisture in this by about 70%. It's going to be a little wet when it's done because that's what's going to hold everything together. But you want to keep cooking it, keep stirring it, and get the excess water, everything out of it, because it's going to cook the flavor in but take the moisture out. And as you can see with mine, it's been cooking for a few minutes now and it will keep cooking down. There's not really going to be a set time as far as how high you have this to make this happen. It could take you 5 minutes, it could take you up to 10, it depends. You kind of have to watch this and eyeball it, and as you cook it, you will notice that it's starting to get like a thick kind of gravy-ish surface to it. When you get it done like that, you have to remember also when you turn this off, it's going to cool and thicken more. So you kind of want to get it to where it is really thick and then turn off the heat so that way it can start thickening. And it won't take long. And then you're going to put a scoop of this onto a bun, top it with a slice of provolone cheese, and this is what we call a Philly sloppy joe. And it is amazing to eat. It's great with the mushrooms and the flavor is just outstanding. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.